Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Tradestation Getting Started. Today, we're going to highlight the Tradestation web trading platform. So if you have any questions on that platform, please just get them ready. I'll be here to answer those questions and clarify a lot of the features and a lot of the functionality that it's on web trading. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Michael, Bojan, Ayo. So we have a big group today. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your schedules to be here today. For me, it's always a pleasure to talk about Tradestation's trading platform. So my name is Jesus Nava. I'm the Director of Client Training and Education for Tradestation Securities. And let's go ahead and get started on this class. Before we jump on to web trading, keep in mind that every symbol and idea that I talk about is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations of Tradestation, and active trading is not suitable for everyone. Make sure that you're using risk capital for it. And also, if we look at past historical performance, this is no guarantee of future results. We also have the options and the futures disclosures at the bottom. We may look at some examples using those asset classes, and it's always good to be aware of those risks. So for more information, we have links all over the disclosure statement, but if you want to go to the main link, it's the one towards the top, www.tradestation.com/important-information. And our colleague Manolo has shared that link right there in the chat. You can click on it if you need more details. Okay, let's go over to the Tradestation website because that's how we get started with the web trading platform. And before I launch web trading, I just want to give you a little bit of background as to how many platforms Tradestation offers. There are 3 in total, 3 that are kind of connected or interconnected between them. We have other platforms that you can access depending on the asset class that you're trading. But mainly, we have 3 separate platforms. One is the Tradestation desktop. That's the one that has all the bells and whistles, and the one that you download and install on your computer. Then we have Tradestation web trading, which is web-based. This you can access on any computer as long as it's connected to the internet. And then we have, our mobile app, which you can download on your mobile device and use Tradestation on your phone. So those are the 3 different platforms. Today, we're going to talk about web trading and go over some of the functionality there. Web trading is we call it a simplified version of Tradestation because it doesn't have, all the bells and whistles you find on the Tradestation desktop, but it's still very robust, and you can still do a lot of things on the web trading platform. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at how to access it. The first thing you do is go to tradestation.com. You click on login right here at the very top of the page. And in here, you have access to the Client Center, which is the first button. But you also have access to web trading. You have 2 separate buttons because one will connect you to the live account. That's where the real funds are if you have a funded account with Tradestation. And then you have access to a web trading simulator, which connects you to, of course, a trading simulator. And you can practice and you can set up your layouts and do everything you need to do on the platform before you risk your capital. That's what I'm going to be using today. And I suggest that you use the simulator if you're still on that learning mode. Let's go ahead and click on login. And this will require me to use my Tradestation username and password. Let's go here. I'm just going to type in my information. Always have a whole bunch of passwords that I need to remember which one I've used. All right, so that's loading my Tradestation. One of the nice things about Tradestation's web trading is that it remembers how you left it last time you were using it. It's kind of saved into the browser settings. So as long as you continue to use the same browser, web trading should come up and show up exactly as you left it the last time you were using it. If we do an update to web trading, you see this overlay that tells you what the update is about. This is web trading version 1.46. You see a history of the versions, but it tells you, what's been added on this new update. Here we have price, volume alerts, and order fill notifications. So that's one of the features that we were waiting on web trading for you to be able to set price and volume alerts. Web trading did not have those. And I always told people, if you need to get alerts, go to the TradeStation desktop. So it's nice that our engineering department was able to, add those alerts right here onto the web trading platform. We're going to take a look at that as well. Let's see. We go through the features here. We have additional, notification settings. All right, we'll take a look at those as well. We have some advanced trading. Let's see what this is. Our goal to announce that you can now add a take profit and stop loss to your open orders on both your chart and matrix. Interesting, because I thought that was already, built into web trading, but maybe it wasn't. So now if you have an open position, then you can add a bracket with a stop loss and a profit target. Pretty cool. We'll take a look at that as well. Okay, this is take profit and stop loss. We'll take a look at that as well. Here's estimated profit and loss. We'll take a look at that functionality. It says that as you drag, the estimated total profit and loss and percent gain will display. I think that's pretty cool. We'll take a look at that feature as well. Customizable order visibility. We go into those settings as well. All right, and here we have Matrix Advanced Trading, which refers to the profit and loss that you were not able to submit before. We'll take a look at that as well. All right, let's go ahead and close this modal. This is an overlay. So it's always good to take a look at, what's been added, because it gives you at least, something to look at and investigate, right? Let's go ahead and first of all, give you a little bit of a tour of what the web trading platform is. Again, if your web trading platform does not look like mine, it's totally fine. I was using web trading a while back, and this is the way that I may have left it. And now that I log in again, this is what I see. But let me show you some of the things you can do. You can see that my web trading is divided into two panels. I have this divider right here in the middle that I can drag left and right. There's a layout manager right here on the top right corner. There's that little box you see next to the trade button that if I click on, I can choose how to split up my screen. The one that is lighter gray is the one that I'm currently on. So you have this 2-panel mode. I always choose the most simple one, not to overcomplicate things, but you can split your screen in more different panels if you wish to do so. This gives me the ability, to have this divider in the middle and move, my panels left and right. You're also going to see that the panels have multiple tabs. There is a limit to the number of tabs you can have open. Like, for example, the panel here on the right-hand side shows quotes, orders, positions, matrix, and news. It has a total of 5 tabs. And you can see that at the very end, there's no plus sign to add a new one. So the maximum number of tabs is 5. And right here on the left, I'm almost on that maximum. I have 4 tabs. I have a chart, option chain, positions, and orders. By the way, this is chart because I see a specific symbol. When you load up a chart on the tab, you see the actual symbol that you loaded on the graph. But here, if I click on the plus, it gives me the ability to open up an application within the web trading platform. The list of applications is limited compared to the one that you find on the TradeStation desktop. If you've been to the apps menu, we have a whole bunch more apps there. But here we have the ones that are most important. So if you're looking for orders, if you're looking for positions, if you're looking for charting, those are all there. So that's one of the nice things about web trading, that it was really well thought out. And you have everything in there to pretty much trade your TradeStation account. Okay, so if I wanted to maybe get a glimpse of a chart, I can click on chart. The default is SPX.X, but here on the right-hand side, you see that I have no plus again. So if I wanted to open another application, I need to maybe close some others that I'm not using. So let me go ahead and simplify the view. I'm just going to click on the X's of the tabs because those are tabs that I can always, bring back. And let me close the news. And these are my quotes. Okay. So I have quotes on the right and I have a chart here on the left. Let me make I'm already at 125%. I'm not sure if the font here is too small for everyone, but I can increase my font size just a tad bit so that we can see it a little bit better. So let's concentrate on charting first. Then we'll go to the quotes tab, and that way we'll keep our presentation organized. And as we go along, you're welcome to ask me questions in the chat. Glancing at it, once in a while to make sure that I address those questions in real time. In addition to, working with the tabs, you also have a maximize button here. So if you want the chart to take more space on your screen, you can either, drag that middle divider, as I showed you earlier, or you can just maximize the panel by clicking on this little button, and then it takes over. Notice how the little button here on the right is blue, it's an indication that it's maximized. But if you click on it again, it goes back to the same view. So at any moment, if you want to maximize a tab or a panel, you can do that by clicking on that corner. All right, so here on the chart, one thing that, the Tradestation desktop doesn't support is the mouse wheel. So I like the way that you can use the mouse wheel right here on this chart to reduce the bar spacing. And you can see more historical data. At the bottom, you see volume. Now my volume doesn't populate right here at the bottom. I'm not sure. It should automatically populate volume, but I suppose it's probably because it's the S&P E-mini. Shouldn't be. So let me go ahead and change the symbol here. I'm just going to click here on the symbol on the chart tab and just type the symbol in. I'm going to type in, let's say that I'm interested in looking at American Express. Now, at this point, I may not remember what the ticker symbol for American Express is. So one thing that I can do is I can type in American Express. And that way, it gives you everything that matches the description. So it's a quick way for you to search for symbols. Also, if you're not really sure what the ticker symbol is, I'm going to click there. Now you can see how the tab says AXP, which is American Express, and I see the chart with the volume here. So again, scroll or the mouse wheel will give you that ability to squeeze the chart a little bit more. There's some additional information at the bottom that I usually don't point to, but it's very prominent here in American Express. We have a D, which is dividends. If I click there, it gives me information on that dividend, the date, and the amount. Here's 52 cents. I also have some E's that provide me earnings information. So it either tells me that if it's a certain price by giving me a green outline, or it's a surprise too, but on the negative side. So we have green surprises and red surprises telling you, exactly what the earnings were at that specific moment. So we have that historical information tied in with the chart, and you can see the response of the market aligned with that event or that economic event. You also have these buttons here at the bottom that allow you to do the same thing as the mouse wheel. So if you don't use the mouse wheel much, you can use these buttons here. And if you click and hold, it'll have the same effect of expanding and compressing the chart. All right. Let's see. I can click and drag the chart up and down as well. Take a look. And if I want to reset, these buttons at the bottom, the last one is a reset. The reset button only shows up when you've moved the scale around. So if I move the chart around and I expand the view, I can always come back and say, oh, reset my view. Just click on this button here at the bottom. And there's that other button that pushes the chart over to the right. Okay. Ricardo is asking, does the desktop version indicate D and E info? It doesn't do it automatically. This is something that shows up on my chart automatically right here at the bottom. It's really nice aligned. On Tradestation desktop, you'd have to add the indicator or the show me. I think if you go to the show me category, we have a show me called EPS postings that you can add to the chart, and it'll give you that information aligned with the chart as well. Okay, so here on the chart toolbar, we have the ability to set alerts. This is something that I haven't looked at before, but I'm going to click here on new alert and see what I can do. So this is American Express. I can set an alert on different quote fields. This is very similar to the alert functionality that you find on the mobile device. Let's say, for example, I want to do a volume on the last price. We are on an up bar right now, but the price seems to be going down. I'm going to monitor the price and say, if it drops below 152, I want to be alerted. So here, I change my value to 152. The operator is less than or equal to, and then I'm just going to click OK. Now you can look at the little bell right here on the top left corner. It changed color from white to orange, letting me know that there's an alert set up here on American Express. And if it drops to 152, I should be alerted. Okay. If I click here on the tabs, you have a tab dedicated to alerts. So at any given moment, if you set up a whole bunch of alerts and you want to go to a place where you can monitor them, just go to the alerts tab and you can see all the alerts that have been turned on. Now, this, of course, gives me history of alerts that were probably generated in my account historically, which is pretty cool. They're grouped by symbol, so you can see here all the Apple alerts, but it also gives you which ones are actives and which ones are not. This is interesting information. Now, of course, all this history I can delete by just clicking on the X. I can collapse all the historical alerts by clicking on this little button. Maybe not. I'm trying to figure out here. This is AT&T. There are 2 alerts. This is all the alerts. I guess I can filter by active. So this is the way to do it. Go to the filter, go to active, and this, of course, gives you only the active alerts. If you want to see history of alerts that have been triggered in your account, you can find them there as well. I just find it a little surprising that, it keeps track of all the alerts that I've set up. In fact, I'm not sure if I set up these alerts. I probably set up these alerts on my mobile device. The mobile device and the web trading platform are very interconnected. So it seems like it kept a history of all the alerts that I had set up in history. Bojan is asking, is there a desktop version for Linux? No, the desktop only works on Windows. So you'd have to be running the Windows operating system in order to install Tradestation. I'm going to say not unfortunately, because that's the way that Tradestation's been forever. But we don't have a Mac version or a Linux version. So you'd have to run Windows on any system in order to run Tradestation. Okay. Let's go ahead and close the alerts tab. You're very welcome, Bojan. Let's close the alerts. We have, going down on the toolbar for charting, you have the toolbar to change the time frame. So I can go to intraday if I want to. You also have the ability to draw lines. If I draw a horizontal line, that's the way that it looks. If I click on the line, I don't have settings. Let me see. There should be a little magnifying glass. Let me go back here to drawing. And because if I wanted to, what's this lock drawing mode? That just locks my drawing modes. If I wanted to change the color of that line, I can click on it. No double click. Do we have any settings to modify alerts? That's interesting. So you can remove, but if I wanted that line to be a different color, I guess that functionality is not supplied yet. Let me press delete here on the keyboard to remove it. You have a little beaker here on the left-hand side, so you can add studies. Again, the list of studies is going to be a select group of studies that have been selected for web trading. You don't have the hundreds of different studies that you find on the desktop, but we have the most popular ones. So if you want to, have %R and then also have the Bollinger Bands, you can add those studies. Click OK, and they will be added to your screen, as you can see here. All right. You also have the ability to change the sessions. Now, we don't have the pre or post market here, just the regular session, but you can change those. You can also change the chart style, the account that you want to see on your chart. And then here's the order settings. We're going to go into order in just a moment so that we can, test out the functionality. By the way, here on the right-hand side, you have the little plus that allows you to trade from within the chart. So Ricardo is asking, can you place a bracket order through chart trading and show the estimated P&L? Of course, let's go ahead and do that. This is American Express trading at $153.73. Let's suppose that we want to get in somewhere at about 153.50. Let's go and click on this plus. All right, and we're going to buy at this level. So I'm going to buy, let's do 100 shares at this price, 153 limit. I'm going to buy them. And there it goes. We get a confirmation at the bottom left, and we can see a flag here that represents our order. Now take a look at how nice this is. I didn't know that by just clicking on it, you have the ability to, cancel the order by clicking the X, or you have the little pencil to edit the order. But if you wanted to do a profit loss, a take profit or a stop loss, you can do them here. So let's say that I want to take profit. That is automatic. And stop loss, it automatically sends those two orders. And then I have the ability to move those orders if I want to. So if I want to shift that order to 152.50, squeeze the chart a little bit, and then maybe move my target to 155, that's something that I can do right out of the gate. Now that's pretty cool. Now I'm not sure if these two orders are connected in an OCO. Let's go ahead and check. If I drag my entry, it's going to drag my entry and get it filled. Okay, so that fills my order. I have a P&L of $4 loss and I'm long 100. Now, if I move my target, let's say that I want to push it up to 156, I can do that also here very quickly. I don't see the shade that I was seeing on the overlay that we saw earlier, but it could be because of the way that I submitted the order. Let's go ahead and do something. Let me cancel these orders. I'm going to just click on the little flags and click on the X. I wasn't sure if those orders were connected in an OCO, but now that I have an open position, let's see what happens here. I have the open position, and let's see. If I click on my order line, it doesn't allow me to. There's a little green button here and a red button inside the box that I thought would let me reset the scaling here. Maybe it has to do with the scale. All right, let's click here. I thought that by clicking on the little boxes here, it would allow me to take or do that profit target and stop loss. Let's go here to the trade bar and see if we can set it up here. I'm going to do an OCO. I can do it as an order cancels order or as a bracket instead. Let's do a bracket. And it does American Express, sell 100, and I have my prices in here. Let's say that I want to do my target at 156, and I want to do my stop at 154. 153, sorry. Send the orders. So there's a system error. So it did take me out of the position, I think. There's no more position open. I believe it's because of the price that I picked for my profit target, but then it shouldn't have been filled because I think my order was higher. It says that I got filled at 153.97. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, it's the UI has changed a little, and I'm a little bit surprised on how much it's changed. But if you wanted to do a profit target and stop loss, well, let's go ahead and enter a position here. I want to go to trade here at the very top. Let's do American Express. I'm going to buy this at market. So let's buy this. Oh, I thought I had taken my symbol. So American Express, let's do a market order and buy. So I have my position again reflected here. Let me go here to the order settings. So it's going to show open field, order alignment to the right, center, and left, and auto scale. That's totally fine. But over here, if I click on the plus, buy, sell, trade bar, then we can set up an alert on the side. Let's take a look at the functionality on the matrix. I'm going to click on the little corner so it resets the size. And I'm going to come over here to this right panel. And let's open up the matrix. I haven't tried, to send a bracket here in the matrix, but let's go ahead and pull up American Express, which is the symbol that we just traded on the chart. And it shows right there. And in order for me to send a bracket here, let me reduce the scale here to a nickel. And let's say, but if I do a profit target, that's my sell. But if I do a stop, correct, I won't be able to submit it because I'm long 500 and it would be a boxed position. So let me go ahead and cancel this trade. Cancel. Okay, so I'm able to submit it here as a single profit target. But if I wanted to do an OCO, again, I think I'm going to be forced to go over here to the trade bar. Trade bar, OCO, I'm going to do a bracket. So if I want to, this is my selling transaction of American Express, I can sell at 156 and my stop would be at 153. Okay, let me send the orders. And those orders are sent. I see my stop right here at 153. And if I scroll towards the top, I should see my target right here at 156. I see those orders reflected here on my chart as well, so I can bring it in a little bit more if I wanted to. Notice that those are things that you can do very simply. And that's very similar functionality to the one you find in Tradestation. The ability for you to submit trades in one application and have the ability to adjust those orders in a separate application. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. I see the enhancement on some of the functionality here. So it makes a lot of sense, to showcase those features on the screen. Let me go here into the settings of show last size and trade route. Is that the only setting that's there? Orders. All right. So that's the matrix. Makes it very simple for you to submit quotes. I was going to talk a little bit about quotes because we set up an alert on AXP, and you can see that we have that bell also visible here. So we know that we have an alert set up on AXP. If we click on that bell, of course, it takes us to the alerts tab, and we have the ability to modify that alert if you want to. All right. And you can set up alerts on not only the last traded price, but you can do it on volume as well. If I maximize my quotes window, notice that I also have this column that has next earnings report data, and it tells you, how many days until these symbols have earnings. If I click on that column header, I can sort by how soon those earnings are going to be released. And we have, for example, for Apple, we have 1 day until earnings are released. That's tomorrow. And it gives you an approximate, time of the day that they'll be released. This will be on the afternoon. All right, so that's interesting information, something handy to have when you're looking at securities like this. You also have the ability to modify the quotes window and add all sorts of calculated values. So we have limited functionality on technical analysis here. And I say limited because I mean, nothing compares to radar screen on the TradeStation desktop. But if you just want to see an ATR value, I'm going to click on average true range, added. It's added to my list. Maybe I'll remove some of these columns that I don't need. For example, ask, bid size, ask size, and last size. Maybe last route too. I don't need that. I'll remove the bid, the high, and the low. And here you have the average true range that I just added set to a 14 period. So if I click OK, of course, everything is reset. But notice the average true range right here calculated for me. You can see that I have a mixture of daily symbols and I have intra-day symbols. This is handy because the ATR calculation that you find in here is going to be based on the time frame that you have up here. So if I add Apple multiple times and I sort by symbol, you know, Apple is right here at the very top. Oh, it's AAPL. All right. I can set one to daily. I can set one to weekly and maybe set the other one to monthly. And you can see how the ATR calculation is based on that time frame. So this is a 14-day ATR. This is a 14-week ATR. And this is a 14-month ATR. Yeah, the parameter hasn't changed. I haven't changed it. So if it's set to 14, then you have that over here. If you want to change the parameter, let's say that I want to see a yearly ATR for Apple or a monthly ATR, and you're looking at 12 months, what I can do is click on the ellipsis, go to average true range, and then I can change that to 12. Now, what that changes the whole column. And I don't think you have the ability to change the symbols individually. So right here, if I go to settings, the settings that I apply here to the average true range apply to the whole list. You know, in radar screen, it gives you that flexibility of being able to adjust the parameter without affecting the others, okay? Let's see. Rojan is asking, I'm sorry, can you place a GTC order in simulated trading? I'm asking because some of my orders seem to have disappeared during the time market was closed, and I'm a bit confused about it. Yes, you can place GTC orders in simulated trading. I'm unsure, and I mean, I'm not really sure what happened to the orders that you had placed. If you had placed them as GTC, they should have remained, you know, on the next trading session. So if they disappeared, you know, there's a couple of things that could have happened, you know, maybe technical issues on the simulated account. You know, if it happens again, I would bring it up to one of our technicians' attention so that they can troubleshoot and maybe go and look at the server. Maybe it needs a reset. Who knows, you know, but we try to, you know, keep our simulated trading as closely as possible to what the real market behavior would provide you. And that way you have a very realistic experience. But sometimes, you know, these simulators have some issues, you know. But nothing to worry about. Anything that you do on the simulator should behave similarly to what happens in a live account, okay? So if I go over here, let's go ahead and do an example. Let's say, for example, that I want to trade Apple. First of all, let me check to see if Apple is in my list of positions. I can go here into the applications and I can open up my positions panel. In positions, you can see that I already have an Apple position of 1,000 shares. Let me go ahead and click on that Apple position. And I get these buttons here on the bottom right, allow me to control that position. I'm going to close that market just because I'm on the trading simulator and I want to use Apple as my example to trade. Let me go ahead and put it on. I'm going to click on trade. And rather than using a standard order, I'm going to go over here to the OCO OSO because I'm going to do an all-inclusive trade, which takes care of my entry and my exits as well. I'm going to go here to the entry long, but with bracket right here, the top option, entry long with bracket. That gives me the ability to submit a trade that I can control all in one place. Let's say, for example, that I want to set my limit price. By the way, over here, the buttons on the right give me real-time quotes on the symbol that is loaded. So I know that Apple is trading at 170.05. Let's say that I want to buy at 170 even. I want to sell at 1.75, and I want to get stopped at 1.68. So notice that the orders here on my trade bar are set to GTC. I'm not sure if this is the default, but you can go to the dropdown and change them. If I send the orders, then they're sent. If I want to keep an eye on the orders, I can go here to the orders application. And then I find those orders right here at the top. The very top one is the one that's been received. That's my buy order at 170.00. If I fill that order, let's go ahead and cancel replace that primary order. I'm going to replace it with a market order. Let's proceed. And you can see how the bracket switches from queued to received. And now my Apple position is being monitored on that profit target and that stop loss. If I go back to my chart, let me go ahead and do something. Let me link my orders to my chart. And I do that by clicking on this little paper clip right on the tab. Let me go ahead and turn this chart to blue. And I'll come over here to orders and I'll turn it blue as well. Now, if I click on American Express, oh, I thought this would link. It doesn't link from orders. It would link from position. So let me go here to, oh, it's already AXP. Dummy me. Let's go back to orders and click on a different symbol. Let's click on Apple. There we go. Now we see that Apple gets loaded here on my chart. I see that I got filled at 170.08, and I see my profit target and my stop loss working for me right here. Now I don't see, maybe it's because I'm using, maybe it's an older version, you know? If we go back to our overlay setting, let me go back here into, where did I get that? And how do I get it again? I think if I go to settings, app settings, layout manager, log out. No, I think it's right here. Help top here it is. Help overlay. If I click over there one more time, that's not what I want. Just click out of that. The client center, no. What's new? Here it is. What's new? And let's go to, okay. This is notification settings. I think we talked a little bit about that. Okay, this is we saw where we can set a profit target and a stop loss, both chart and matrix. Okay. Simply click on an opening order, and the take profit or stop loss buttons will display. I think we tried that already. And then this is what I didn't see, you know, the actual shape. Maybe it doesn't happen, you know. Interesting. So let's go ahead and do something here. Let me close my position again. Close that market. Proceed. Okay, that closes my position and cancels my bracket. So if I put in a trade on Apple one more time, let me click on, well, I'll click here. I'll click on the plus, buy. If I want to modify the order, I just go into, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go ahead and close this. If I wanted to buy at market, I guess I cannot use this little plus button. Let's go to the trade bar, market, Apple 1000. Let's buy them. And then from here, oh, it's an open order. So let me go ahead and close this one more time. The good thing about the simulator is that you can do this type of things until you get a good handle on the functionality. Let's go ahead and put in an open order. So I'm going to go ahead and click here, buy and buy. There we go. And we click on the actual open order. That's where you have a take profit and a stop loss. If I do take profit and I push up, oh, there we go. That's where we see the shade. And then you don't get it again. It's only when the first time that you click and drag. And then if I click on the opening order one more time, this is a stop loss. If I click and drag, then I see that shade. Pretty cool. So it gives me an expected P&L. Let's drop it there. Then we have our stop loss. Now, what I don't know, let's go here to the orders tab because I want to, so those are both received. These are Apple orders, so queued and queued. Okay, these are my profit target and my stop loss. But are they connected as an OCO? That's my question, right? I guess they are. It says here bracket. So if one gets filled, the other side gets canceled. The nice thing is that when I did it on the chart, I was able to do them individually and still connects them as an OCO. That's pretty cool. Over here, if I were to cancel this order, of course, it cancels the bracket because it automatically attaches it to it. So very nice. Let's see one question here from Thomas. It says, can we access more detail on for more detailed info? I'm new at the format, so drinking from a water hose. Oh, sure, Thomas. These classes are recorded, and a lot of times, yes, I assume that a lot of you may already have seen the platform. So I do talk about a little bit more about the advanced functionality that is part of the TradeStation platform. But we have a playlist, which is the Web Trading Quick Start. Manolo, I'm not sure if we have a link to that playlist. I believe it's on YouTube. It's called the Web Trading Quick Start. That'll give you, some introductory videos on how to use the TradeStation web trading platform. So let's see if Manolo finds it, and he'll share it with us here in class. Some other functionality that I haven't shown you. We talked about quotes. We did talk about alerts. Balances is pretty straightforward. If you want to check your balances in your account, an option chain, that's something that everybody should know how to do, especially if you're enabled to trade options. I can pull up a symbol here. Let's do Apple. Apple, of course, trades at $170. So putting on a position for 1,000 shares, that is going to cost you $170,000. That's how much the trade is. So going into the options world sometimes makes a lot of sense. Right here on the top, I have expirations. The ones that have a W are my weekly. Here are my monthly May options. So if I think Apple is going to go up and I'm bullish Apple, I may be interested in buying a call. So if I click on any of these two prices, it's going to send that information or that call over here to my options trade bar. The limit price is $4.45. If I want to have the equivalent of 1,000 shares, I have to increase the quantity to 10. 100 shares per contract, of course, gives you 1,000 shares. This means that my trade would be, one contract is going to be about 445. If I trade 10 contracts, that's going to be 4,450. So a 4,000 trade, of course, beats a $170,000 trade. But that's one of the benefits of trading options, that you have a little bit more leverage. And with that leverage, of course, comes a greater risk. So something to be aware of. But the option chains, that's how you manage it. You look at expirations here at the top. Load the expiration by clicking the actual header for that expiration, and you see the puts and calls in there. You can increase the number of strikes if you want. By default, we only show 10, 5 above and 5 below, but you can build, your options position this way. This is just a call. If you wanted to trade a custom spread, you can select custom and then click on each one of the legs that you want the spread to be built, off. Now these I have two selected. One is long and the other is short. You can determine that by clicking on the actual blue or the red column. if you click on the blue, that's a buy, and you click on the red, that's a selling transaction. So by setting your spread here to custom, you're able to pick and choose the different legs that you want to trade on a particular options spread. All right. Let's see other applications. We talked about charting. Hot lists are pretty cool if you want to see stocks ranked based on criteria like percent gainers, percent losers. That's where the hot lists. That's where the hot list comes into play. We looked at the matrix. News is one of the applications that was visible when we first started web trading, but it does give you a very nice visual of those news articles. This is one of the views here on the right-hand side. You can change the view to higher graphics or bigger graphics. These are kind of smaller graphics. And then you have another view, which is just plain headers or news articles. So whichever style you like most, stick to that. And of course, news can be filtered. Right now I'm set to top stories, but I can do all categories, all channels. I want to get everything. Or you can be more specific, if you want, news on ETFs or analyst ratings or government news. So anything related to any of these categories, you can set your news window to. And that's pretty much it. We looked at orders, we looked at positions. The functionality is very robust, as I said at the very beginning of the presentation. You're not going to get, the highly sophisticated scanning tools and analysis tools that are on the Tradestation desktop. But for somebody that's getting started with the Tradestation platform, maybe it's a good place to get started on. It's simple, intuitive, straightforward, not much to learn. And a lot of people will choose that over, the more difficult, sophisticated platform. So we have a different flavor for everyone. And you just have to choose the one that is most comfortable to you. But I do recommend that if you do prefer the web trading platform and you prefer to trade on it, that you at least take some time and discover what the desktop has, because there may be some tools there that are very powerful that you may want to use going forward. Okay. Right. Yeah. Great. Thank you for your feedback here in the chat window. So I'm going to open up the floor for Q&A. Do you guys have any questions on web trading or even the Tradestation desktop? So I'm open to any type of questions here. So let's let's start those questions rolling in. So while you guys do that, I'm going to change the magnification here on my screen so that if I need to pull up the desktop, it looks better than on my high resolution. If I open up Tradestation on my high resolution monitor, everything just looks very small. So I'm going to come over here. The question from John: can you set the value of a drawing object like a horizontal line? On web trading, let's go here to web trading. Okay, so let me open up. Let's drop this now. It's already too big. Okay. If I go to a chart, let's go here and hide the trade bar. Let's go to a chart. Let me remove some of these drawing tools. So I'll remove the Bollinger Band, the ADX. And if I go to my drawing toolbar button, I click on horizontal line. So I won't be able to enter the value. So you have to click and drag and drop the line where you want, on the value that you want. So if I want to have, whatever, let's do 170. I drop it in there, and there we go. There you go. So a little bit of precision, and they'll be dropped. It's different than the desktop. On the desktop, you're able to enter a value if you needed to. And one more thing that you can do on horizontal lines on the desktop is you can set up alerts on them as well. Not something you can do here. If you wanted to set a price alert here on charting, you have to click on this little bell on the top left corner of the chart. So Ricardo, the earnings indicator on desktop. So let's go back in there. Let me go ahead and log in. one of the things about logins is that you can only be connected on one platform at a time. So by me launching the TradeStation desktop, it's going to disconnect my web trading, which is okay. You know, I can always log back in if I needed to. So I'm going to come over here to charting and show you how you can find earnings on the TradeStation desktop. So let's go ahead and pull this up. This is a daily chart of Apple. I'm going to go here to the studies, click on add studies. Let's go to the show me category. And the indicator that I was referring to is this one called EPS postings. EPS, short for earnings per share. I click OK. And this is the way that it looks. You know, I think the one on web trading is a little bit nicer looking, but here we have it in the form of a show me. So if I squeeze the chart a little bit, historically, I can see all the different earnings that have been released on Apple. All right, so there it is. Let's see. Bojan is asking, is there a document describing your OCO, OSO orders? By clicking on them, I get an idea what they are, but being a bit of a bookworm, sorry, I would like to see it described in an ebook or a document. Let's go ahead and take a look. I would, let's go ahead and take a look at the help here. Help, get help, and say platform trading. So this is documentation on everything that is related to TradeStation. So if I want to search, I can do that. Let's go here to OCO and search. All right, at the very top, we have OCO and OSO templates. Let's click there. And here's the breakdown of what the templates do. We have the entry templates at the very top. Well, these are all entry templates. Let's see, order cancels order. So you can use this information. I like this because it gives you a little bit of a graph of what happens on an entry template. We can also go here, understanding OCO, OSO orders. Let's see, these are the OCO and OSO templates. I would expect, you know, to have exits here as well. It has it shows you an exit bracket. I guess this is the only exit bracket that it explains. It has 3 limits and 2 stops, and it gives you a little bit of a graph on it. If I were to do this on my web trading platform, I think the documentation is a little bit different. Let's go ahead and check. If I go to support here, and I go to help topics, you know, this goes to a different help system, but you can still search for OCO. But this only you know, explains OCOs within the limits of web trading. So if you go to OCO orders on the trade bar, it also gives you some information about what the order type is, a description, and an example. Okay, so those are the 2 places where you can find documentation on OCOs and OSOs. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next question. John is asking, is there a snap to option? Not in web trading. So let me go here to web trading. So if I go here to the drawing menu, we only have, you know, options like delete selected, delete all, hide drawings, or show drawings. In fact, the drawing menu in itself, it's not as long as the one you have on the TradeStation desktop. So yes, to answer your question directly, no, there's no snap mode on the web trading platform. That's something that's on the TradeStation desktop only. All right. From Jan, please show me or show one more time how to add studies or indicators on chart and quotes. I tried it and it didn't show. All right, Jan, here on a chart, you go to the science beaker. They're on the toolbar here on the left-hand side. You have like a little science beaker that if you hover, it says studies. I click on it, but just make sure that if you're highlighting a particular indicator, let's say that we want to do the MACD, that you're clicking on this little button in the middle to add it. So over here on the right is when the studies are applied. You can change the parameters or anything about the study, but just make sure that it's listed here and you move it over here by clicking on this middle button. Once you click OK, then it gets applied at the bottom of the screen. Not sure if that's what the problem was, but the same happens here on quotes. If I go here to the quotes, let me open this up and I want to see MACD here. Again, I look for the indicator on the left, click on the button right here in the middle, make sure it shows right here on the right-hand side, and then click OK. That adds MACD right here on the far right. Perfect. Lisa's asking, is there a crosshair type function that can take you to the same location on the chart as you change time frames? You know, we have some functionality on the Tradestation desktop that turns on something called pointer tracking. It doesn't really load the chart on the same location that you had on a prior chart, but it does allow you to click on one and have another chart update to that same location. That feature is only on the Tradestation desktop. So if you're asking about web trading, Lisa, then that's something we don't support on web trading. But if you want to see the functionality that I'm talking about on charting, let me show it to you. So let me go here and open up another chart. And as that is loading, let's go ahead and log in. Okay, I'm going to go to the window menu and arrange horizontally. So I have the two charts here on my display. On the top one, I have daily, but on the bottom one, I can load up a 60-minute. And on a 60-minute time frame, the way that I did it is I just typed in 60 space MIN and hit enter. It changes the chart automatically for you. But I'm going to load here 1 year of data, maybe 2 years of data. By the way, I'm also typing that command. If you type in 1 year and enter, it loads 1 year of data. If you type in 2 years and hit enter, it loads 2 years of data. So the feature that I'm talking about is called settings, pointer tracking, and you can turn it on for the workspace or for the whole Tradestation across workspaces if you need that feature. I'm going to set it to workspace. And let's suppose that I want to, looking at this chart, I see, you know, this is 2023, and I see 2022 here. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to get a glimpse of an intraday activity on this exact bar. There was a gap up. Earnings were announced for $1.20. So if I want to see the 60-minute activity on that day, I just click here and hold and push it right here on that place. That vertical line tells me where the pointer tracking is. And over here on the left, I have a correlated pointer tracking. So if I look at the date down here, this is August, the same month here, August. And if I want to be more specific, well, that's not August, it's July 29th. So it's the very end of July. It shows August down here because of the way that the time scale shows up. But this is July 29th, and you have the exact same bar highlighted here on this chart at the bottom. Let me scroll to the left a little bit. So here we go, July 29th. So do you see that? So at any point in the desktop, you can click on any bar while having pointer tracking turned on, and it will go exactly to that same spot. Next question here. Let me turn this off so that it doesn't do anything weird on my screen. Thomas is asking, are fib indicators set for on auto on chart, or do we need to add manually? All the Fibonacci drawing tools need to be added manually if you want to see them. I don't think there's any place on the TradeStation platforms where they get added automatically, unless you're opening up one of the default workspaces that have it applied. But on a chart here, I would have to go to the drawing menu, go to the section for the Fibonacci. Let's say that we want to do let's do the price retracement lines. So if I want to measure the distance from here, from this low, all the way to the high, so I clicked on that low, and I'm clicking on this high, and I see the Fibonacci levels right here. So if I'm trying to monitor the price activity from this point forward, maybe I'm expecting, a correction here on Apple, and I may want to monitor that 23% Fibonacci level and how the market reacts to it. But yeah, it would have to be drawn. And if you're looking at, the web trading platform, that's also a place where it needs to be drawn. Okay. Lisa's asking, is that on 9.5? What exactly are you asking about, Lisa? Oh, okay. It's probably the crosshair function. Yeah, the crosshair function is also available in 9.5. It may not be on the same menu because this settings menu is something on 10.0. But if you're looking for pointer tracking, it should be in one of the menus at the top of your TradeStation platform with the chart open. So make sure that you have a chart open. And I think it's going to be format, maybe in the format menu or the view menu. So sometimes it's also the view menu. So check your menus because I believe pointer tracking is going to be there and it's called the same thing. So no changes on the nomenclature. All right, that's it. I think I answered all the questions that were submitted. So thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you for your support of the TradeStation trading platforms, and any questions you guys have, please join me again next Wednesday, same time. I open up the floor for a Q&A and you can just ask me any questions you guys have, okay? Thank you for your time. Thank you for your business. And I hope to see you in a future event right here at TradeStation. Goodbye, everyone. Great having you.